Peace be upon you. Welcome back to Wealth and Wisdom. Today we discuss the Islamic economic model. At their heart, all economic systems seek to allocate and distribute resources amongst a populace in the most just manner possible, balancing the needs and wants of the individual against those of others in society. There are many different economic systems in the world. They are most commonly defined as existing somewhere along a spectrum with neo-capitalism, a system where there is no government control over the economy, characterized by private ownership and for-profit enterprise on one end, and socialism, a system where the government is heavily involved in regulating the economy and is characterized by communal ownership on the other. Nevertheless, it seems that as a species, we have failed to realize an equitable distribution of wealth. According to the World Bank, in 2015, 10% of the world's population, or 734 million people, lived on less than $1.90 a day, which it classifies as extreme poverty. On the other end of the spectrum, the world's richest 1% have more than twice as much wealth as 7 billion people. In terms of taxation, only 4 cents of every dollar of tax revenue comes from taxes on wealth. These inequalities manifest themselves as various miseries and disadvantages. Lack of education, healthcare, and malnutrition are some of them. Woodrow Wilson, the 28th President of the United States, summed it up precisely. The truth is, we are all caught in a great economic system which is heartless. Seeing as how the economic models we choose to live by have such profound effects on us, and the failure of present models in achieving overall well-being, we should ask whether religion has offered us any solution, one that puts the heart back into economic philosophy. Perhaps of all the major religions in the world, Islam has given the most detailed instructions on how to achieve this ideal. It provides extensive teachings about all important aspects of human life. Islam has a system of almsgiving and socio-religious taxation that is extensive in its theory and practice, one that is intricately connected to the Islamic socio-economic system. It is neither a capitalist nor a socialist system, rather it can be seen as a balance between the two. Nevertheless, its underpinnings, unique characteristics, and philosophy make it distinct from other systems. If you are enjoying the video, please take a second to like, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to our channel for more content. All money that is spent following the guidelines that Allah has provided is deemed an act of worship and merits a reward. Therefore, the responsible spending of wealth and allocation of resources is a religious duty in Islam. Amongst the guidelines, we find the importance of providing for the family, with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once declaring that the morsel of food that you place in your wife's mouth is an act of charity. The repayment of debts, giving dues to the government, giving gifts as well as helping the poor are all treated in detail. As a result of following these guidelines, one can expect a strong and vibrant economy as well as an environment that fosters mutual relations of trust and kindness. Moreover, Allah states that He will reward a person at least 10 times as much as they give in His path, and this can increase up to 700 times or even more. These blessings are received both in this world and the next. Therefore, the Islamic economic system is one that focuses on both worldly and spiritual well-being. Islam envisions an economic model where people are rewarded in accordance with their personal efforts and ingenuity, but where the needs of others are not overlooked. Moreover, it seeks to root out the feelings of miserliness, envy, and scorn that sometimes exist between people of different economic classes. It is an economic model that is underpinned with kindness and justice. Man is permitted to work and enjoy the fruit of his labor, but he has not been permitted to overlook the basic needs of his fellow man. The unjust distribution of wealth through the accumulation of massive amounts of assets in the hands of the few has not been permitted in Islam. At the other end of the spectrum, Islam has also not allowed man to sit idle and expect that others should support him. Moreover, it has forbidden all types of illicit means of generating wealth, such as corruption, bribery, and interest. Seeing its ubiquitous nature and perceived essentiality in the world economy today, some may be surprised to learn that Islam has banned interest. Nevertheless, the shiny veneer of interest hides many unsightly realities. Unbridled greed, hard-heartedness, living beyond one's means, and the strong upward movement and accumulation of wealth in the hands of the wealthy are but a few of the ills that go hand in hand with interest, all of which run counter to the ideals that Islam seeks to develop within society. Instead of loans being given on interest, Islam envisions that loans be given as an investment or as charity. In this way, the risk is shared between all parties versus just the debtor. In the standard capitalist economy, accumulation of wealth is rewarded through interest, whereas in the Islamic model, accumulation of wealth is penalized. Essentially, what Islam proposes is a wealth tax to even the playing field, so to speak. This tax is known as zakat. Islam systematically establishes, with a top-to-bottom approach, how an economy should function and under what philosophy. It first draws our attention to the idea that all wealth that exists in the world in the form of natural resources belongs foremost to Allah, who is the creator of this world and all that it contains. Next, it tells us that God has created everything for the ultimate benefit of man. As a custodian and guardian of the wealth of this world, he has been instructed to benefit from it responsibly. He is to work, spend, and distribute the wealth of the world which he has received as a sacred trust in a just manner. Islam encourages man to be a responsible, compassionate member of his society. Where each person is responsible for his own well-being, he is also responsible to a certain degree for his fellow man, and is taught that those less fortunate than him have a right to a portion of the wealth that he earns, irrespective of whether they ask for it or not. Moreover, there are a myriad of other needs such as security, transportation, sanitation, etc., that must be provided for the proper functioning of government and society. To fulfill these needs, Islam has taught a system where people in certain cases are obliged to hand over their wealth, and in others are encouraged to voluntarily part with it for the greater good. The hoarding of wealth is not encouraged. Rather, systems are put in place to ensure that wealth continuously circulates in society and that there is a strong downward movement of wealth away from the wealthy and towards those who are in need. By taking a portion of the wealth of citizens by right, the legitimate needs of the government and society are met on a day-to-day basis. Moreover, by encouraging man to give away a part of his wealth voluntarily, Islam develops within society the qualities of compassion, generosity and sympathy, and does away to a great degree with greed and miserliness. The spending of wealth according to the dictates of God is known as infaq fi sabilillah, or spending in the way of Allah. All such spending, even if it seems to not be directly religious, is also referred to as sadaqat, commonly translated as almsgiving. The root meaning implies sincerity and truthfulness. In a similar fashion, zakat in Arabic denotes purification. Therefore, a person who spends his wealth in the path of Allah demonstrates the sincerity that exists in his heart for his faith and his fellow man whilst purifying the rest of his wealth in the process. If you learned something today, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.